Do we want to go down that road?
No.
Well done, Ed Sheeran, for your career.
For your same song.
It's taken me all of my willpower not to say anything about it. I've already said too much.
Welcome back to the Gene Therapy Podcast, where members of the band Navier Gene, Eddie,
That's me.
James,
There's me.
Adam,
Hello.
and myself, Jenny, will discuss the band, the music, and what else we're up to, as well as general things relating to the music industry and being a band making music and content and such. So last week, we introduced Navier Gene, the band, all of us, and who we are. But today we're getting a little bit more specific, talking about the live music that Navier Gene has been releasing on a weekly basis for 4 weeks now, I think it is.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And also what it's like to create music and creating content during week 3,059,000 of the COVID-19 pandemic, as we're wading through it as creatives.
I just love Coog's resting sass face. He's just like,
It's not intentional, I promise.
yeah, he doesn't realise he's doing it, but he does it every time. It's funny as fuck.
It has been interesting, but now we're on week 4. Oh no, we're on week 5, but on week 4 at the time of recording. But as when you're listening to this, the audience, you will have had pretty much all of the covers that we've currently recorded.
Lucky buggers.
I'm saying we. I haven't done it. These 3 have done it. And I think we covered this topic a little bit last week, but I just thought, well, you know, since it's been quite a big thing, it's pretty much been the only thing that we've really been releasing at the moment because of constraints. I just thought we might as well talk about it for a bit. As far as I know, I can't really remember, but what tracks have been released?
Well, all of them now.
But in order, it would have been Swerve, Die.
Swerve City,
God.
Die Alone, Bruce Pristine, Secrecy, and then First It Giveth.
And yes.
I do love that Dowd came in there just like abbreviating them, like Swerve, Die. Bruise.
Made it sound like a terrifying obituary.
I know the feeling.
Is that what it feels like?
COVID, as you said in your intro, yeah, exactly that.
I think that's the main thing in it. It's just with Rona being the thick bitch she is.
My corona.
We've done
Macarena.
what we can do, but it turns out that we've accidentally made some quite decent content. So that's always a bonus.
Literally, when you sort of mentioned the fact that this was the thing that we're speaking about, I was really chuffed with the fact that it was a sort of a happy accident. Actually sort of starting doing them. Being Swerve being like our sort of main jam song since sort of jumping in and going in there, realising like, hang on, there's something like potentially viable here because like it sounds mint. And then like, you know, that's the way it was. And it was a great little sort of like sound check song, wasn't it? The fact that we're all in going, right, our level's correct. You know, it was just, I like the way it sort of worked it from that way. I like the way you work it.
I think that's also a testament to us 3 as musicians when our secret sauce comes together, is that we don't just like playing our own songs, we also like messing about and doing some tasty jams, some sexy jams.
See, I didn't know that it was your jam song. I just thought you all liked that song.
Well, yeah, we do, and that's why it became the unofficial jam song / soundcheck of us for levels and everything, just because it's musically it's a pretty straightforward song. You just, you know, vamping some real tasty chords, pretty straightforward riffs, but it's just right, is the energy there, is the power there? Do you need to come up, do I need to stop tippy tapping on the hi-hats and do something proper, you know? And it just so happens it's to a really good song. And by the feedback that we've gotten as well, it seems like people are really into our
version of it.
Yeah.
What my little anecdote of the whole Swerve City timeline was my introduction to Deftones. Realistically, my proper introduction to Deftones was Coog's drum cover of that song, original drum cover of that song, and I was like, "This isn't Deftones because it's really good." And then no, come on, hey, look, no, I can say it because I've never really give Deftones a time of day. And then as soon as I was broken in with that song, I was like, "Oh my god, I have been sleeping my entire life, and now I am finally awake, and I'm a free man. I can fly." But yeah, from there, I remember coming to the rehearsals and being like, starting to play the riff. I was like, "What do you think of this? Do." And Coog was like, "Hey up, don't tempt me." I was like, "I can tempt you because I can play the whole song." And we just literally first time played it perfectly. And I was like, "Well, that's fat." And then it's become such a meme to us now that if I start playing the riff, Coog's like, "Not playing that away, come on." But I have to play it. I have to play it every rehearsal, otherwise I aren't like satisfied.
Yeah, don't feel like...
But it's not really a rehearsal.
To the point where we've had to sort of bookend it most times as well. It was like, we'll play it, we'll start with it and end with it.
But like, sometimes we'll go there with like an agenda, like we've got to record this today, or we've got to learn this today. But then everyone's like, "So anything else we need to do, or should we call it?" And then I'm just like, "We should probably play Swear before we leave, just to make sure we know what the song goes like, and we can all play it still."
In case we've forgotten it somehow.
But it's not. It's because I really want to play it because I love playing it.
I feel like it's going to be the song that you that if you'll go on stage every time and it's the Navier Gene thing to just play Swerve City to start off the gig, like completely, even if it's like an acoustic gig.
Soundcheck song for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely soundcheck. I'm not sure.
Yeah, absolutely a soundcheck song.
A set song.
I think what we did with regards to the Gene Pool sessions was we were going to record a music video, but then we couldn't because we couldn't get any, directors, filmers, actors, all that sort of stuff in. And then I think it was Dowd that said, should we just go to the room and try and film anything? And then had a small conversation. It was like, we'll just record Swerve City and film it and put it together. And it must have taken us like, well, the session and then like 3 or 4 hours work at home, mixing, mastering. And we had a video. And then we were like, we should do more of these because this is good content and it's also really fun. And then I think the discussion from there went to we could do a couple of old songs and a couple of covers and make like this like sort of collective sort of art piece, I guess. I don't know what art piece, but like I can't think of the word.
Art piece.
Yeah, basically.
Fart piece.
No, like it's like neither like the sessions of the first album, but it's just like a taste of what we're all into, a taste of what our soundscape can become and things like that. And a sampler is what I was looking for. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, it was an overall sort of arcing idea, especially with the fact that it was like potentially having to sort of introduce two people as well. So it was a nice way to sort of go, well, here's songs that you know being done by people that you don't know.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, the thing is, because the Navier Gene original album wasn't really... So obviously, there's a fan base there, but some people will be discovering Navier Gene for the first time now. And as a band, like, as you guys have come in, that's when they discovered it. So, like, to sort of, like, have to go back and only listen to stuff that doesn't involve you two, it kind of gives people that fair shot to get a taste of who you are as a band now.
With that as well, I think we only ever jammed My Friend, Secrecy and Die Alone because we never wanted to stagnate on the things that have already been out. We wanted to move forward with our own things. So I think with the Gene Pool sessions, it would be kind of a step backwards to learn more songs of the first album to then going on and do newer songs or like covers and things like that. I think it was better to do the songs we knew and then something a little tastier and a little extra.
Although saying that, you have released 2 tracks from the original album and people love them as a band.
Yeah. God damn it.
Yeah, but they're good songs.
I mean, we can always play more. more.
I think there's always going to be that that balance between when you're a musician, when you've been working on material or it's not been properly released, you often find that not that you get sick of writing and performing your own songs, but when you've been touring them and doing all this stuff for so long, and then you just kind of like, oh no, we've moved on. We're into this whole new cycle of creativity and all these cool new ideas. And if you like that stuff, you just check out the new stuff. But you can very easily forget that there are tons of people who maybe haven't heard or experienced the earlier stuff before. So it's something that I don't think you ever grow out of. It's something that a lot of musicians have to consider. Maybe that audience members and listeners and stuff tend to maybe not think about. It's a really weird situation, and it's. I mean, whenever it's been stuff that I've been involved with, it's never been because that old stuff's crap. Let's move on. Whatever. I don't want to give people what they want. It's never been anything like that. But it's just because you're constantly wanting to create new stuff. You're wanting to move forward. You want to grow, evolve, do these cool new things. Especially given the circumstances of where we're at with Navier, it's like, well, everybody's had a couple of years of Eddi doing the Navier thing. What about if it's the three of us? But then that's its own double-edged sword that we've mentioned about in the previous podcast.
That's also the big thing with every band, though, at the end of the day. I remember my dad basically coming back from an Elton John concert, and he goes, "Rubbish." I'm like, it's Elton John. What are you on about? Of course it's not rubbish. It was rubbish. I was like, why? So, because he only performed when the cameras came on, and he played his hits. As soon as the cameras for the DVD were turned off, didn't talk to the crowd, didn't smile, just did his bit, did his stuff, and then just took the money and run. So but it definitely is a balance.
That makes me really sad.
In my opinion, to make sure you go back and you do. There's a lot, in my opinion, you should be definitely giving to the audience more than you are to yourself.
That's that feels like quite an extreme example, but I totally get, because he is such a legend. He's been performing for so many decades, not just years but decades. But I like Radiohead, for example. I would say that they're a more modern, more kind of closer to our end of the spectrum type of thing. Yeah. They obviously, Creep was their huge hit in the early to mid 90s. Every time they would play a gig, people would say, play Creep. Tom York, the rest of the band were like, I am sick of that song. I hear it all the time. It was on the radio all the time. Do we have to play it? No, but the people want to hear it, so let's do it. Obviously, that's quite a begrudging thing, but I don't feel it's anywhere near as sour as what you just said about Elton John. That sounds really sour.
I love Elton John. It breaks my heart a little bit, actually. But I think the thing as well, obviously, yeah, the comparison. So I'd say Creep was probably quite a comparison of basically being hugely successful as a song, covered by tons of people. I would say their most well-known song to most people that maybe don't listen to Radiohead. But you would get sick of playing that song. I don't think Navier Gene are at a point where Eddi, considering, hasn't actually taken Navier Gene out live yet. But Eddi, is there any songs that you're already sick of?
No, not really.
Okay, good.
As artists, you have to find a way to cope with situations that are thrown at you, i.e. the whole pandemic. And with the idea we had to do this small video that then turned into a full session, and all it is us in a room practicing with our phones recording us, and then just a couple of lines out onto a laptop for drums and bass and stuff. Then take it home, just do what you would normally do at home, and you create a product, and then you've got more content for people to watch and things like that. I think it's a great way to it's not a great way, it's a great way, but there's other things you can think about that aren't just, I need to play gigs and I need to write songs. And with that as well, I'm back to the am I bored of songs thing. I'm not bored of anything. I just like Coog said, I'm excited about new stuff, but also it's great because it's a nice, easy thing for us to do these live videos. If anybody wants to see a certain song or even a certain cover, they need only ask, and then we just go do it. And not only is it fun and easy, but it's exactly what the people want.
Yeah, I like it. I think the one thing that I find really cool about this, and I mean, obviously there's bands out there doing live sessions, people have really taken on Facebook Live and YouTube Live and doing entire gigs live, which is really cool. I've seen some of them, and they do them really well. From bands that can afford to get a full recording rig, getting proper cameras, to people just setting up their phone and doing a live. Even people doing lives where their band members are in completely different spaces is really interesting. So people have adapted to some degree, but a lot of bands haven't really done that much because it's kind of really disheartening, and a lot of bands haven't been able to sort of get together, or maybe they feel they don't have the budget for it. But I think it's cool. Obviously, with these recordings, didn't happen like in the dead of the pandemic. It wasn't like as if it was happening like while it was all in lockdown. These happened while there was the ability to go out. But I feel like being able to bring your songs pretty much every week because you've gone and made that content is really cool.
Yeah, and it's something that we can do going forward indefinitely as well. I think from a standpoint of people, I like bands, and I like it when a band announces a new album, and then basically what you do then is you wait for singles to be released, and then an album comes out. Why is there not more content in between there? Especially in bigger bands where I know they'll have a lot more people hands-on with them, management and things like that, so it's not all down to them. But I feel like there's a certain lack of effort in some places where, and it sounds horrible, it's not a lack of effort, it's just a lack of just thought about the situation. Like for us and for me especially, with releasing new stuff or like getting Navier Gene back together and announcing more members, I want to do as much as I possibly can to get the people involved and show them that it's like all going to be good and content's mint and that. Don't really know what I'm saying, but I think I made some sense there.
I think the main point for me that excites me is the fact that there's like Navier Gene has started off and you're already like showing. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your asses, by the way. I just think that it's cool that you guys have had the opportunity to be able to share, like give more than maybe like what was expected. I feel like a lot of, especially local bands, go for like a traditional path, whereas essentially like you release a single or you release a few singles and release an album or an EP, and then you go tour it, and then you come back and write the next one, and there's like a cycle where there's a lot of radio silence, like kind of a pun there, but a lot of silence from the band when something's not been created traditionally. Whereas like, I don't know, like I've seen a few bands sort of doing what Navier Gene's doing, but like right now you're kind of against the grain here on what you would normally traditionally do.
I mean, in terms of actually producing the things and getting them together, we were very lucky in terms of timing. That was the real key.
And the skill set to make
I
them.
do half agree with everybody, to be honest with you. Obviously, it was pure luck. I mean, it's luck that we've got equipment that we've built over time as well, to be able to do that kind of thing. So that is a thing. However, and the skill set to make it happen. But literally just before we hit record on this, you know, I was showing Coob a little microphone that was 10 quid that goes directly into your phone, and off you go. You know, so you're right. It's not necessarily a lack of effort. It's skills. It's skills to have the forethought to go, do you know what, I could do something in between my releases, I suppose.
Or resources
and
as
resources.
well.
Yeah.
I think it's also just like to round all that off. It's just adapting to the situation and the environment. So basically, bands that are bands, I included myself in my other projects, and you guys as well, are still bands. But then we have such this massive amount of dead space where we cannot do anything. So we either adapt or we wait it out. And I feel like more people should be adapting. And I've seen bands do things as well. So it's not just us doing stuff, obviously, but it's in those choices and those like things you do that allow your career to go forward and allow, you know, it can create more hype and get people involved and things like that. And then when you do come back and the world is hopefully back to normal, we're in a stronger, if not, you know, the same point we should have been in without gigs.
Yeah, definitely. And also, you guys haven't had the opportunity. Like, would you guys be out gigging right now, do you think?
Definitely.
That's another bit of the luck thing, in my opinion, is the fact that we've not been able to do the traditional. Like you said, we've not had the ability to go through the traditional path. So it's what, again, literally what you've just said. We've had to adapt to find new ways of doing things, and it's been probably more fun in the sense of like you're not having to lift your amps about all the time and like do load-ins and load-outs. Initially
as well, like you've just touched on something I didn't think about, but it's absolutely true, is that we never thought about this as a business point of view from the start. It purely was, I want to be a band, how can I be a band? And we're like, oh, we'll record some videos, then we'll do some covers, we'll learn this song. That's what it was. Yeah. But then like you said, again, luckily we were able to use that and then create something from it, and just use your noggin to do bits.
That's literally what it is.
Because it's good and stuff.
Yeah. Well, limitations breed creativity.
Yeah, man.
It sounds
absolutely.
like a faux pas, really, but It's
How dare you? How dare you follow me with that? Fuck's sake.
I hit you with the absolute zen quote of the episode, but limitations breed creativity. But it's good. It's good. You don't ever think. I mean, like we mentioned, we've been doing this for a few years in different bands and stuff, and obviously we've learnt skills over that time. But don't think that you need thousands of pounds worth of equipment to do this stuff. It's a limitation is just see that as a welcome challenge to see how good you can make something be or sound or whatever. It's just, almost like homework for you all. If you're listening, don't think you need all the best stuff. Just do it. Like Eddie mentioned, when we went in the room, we had a couple of microphones. We filmed it all on our phones. That's all you need,
DIY.
And that's not to say as well, like we don't have a ton of money to do this. Like Coog said and I've said, it's all on our phones, and we've got our process down now. So like the first video to the last video was done. The last video was done way quicker with way more effectivity or effectiveness.
Efficiency.
The first one, even though the whole recording's live, it's shot on separate takes. There's like about 6 or 7 separate takes of us playing the song over and over again. And then everyone upgraded their phones or used their phones, so now we film it all at the same time and things like that. But if you don't have the means to do this, just use one of you guys' phones. You don't have to mic up the whole drum kit. Just you do 2 mics on the drum kit. Do you know what I mean? And you watch a YouTube video, and it'll tell you how to mix a drum kit with 2 mics on it to sound good. There's plenty of knowledge out there for free. Just basically have an idea of what you want to do, research how you can do it with the means you have, and then just do it. And if it doesn't pan out, you've tried, and that's better than doing nothing as well.
It's the kind of the thing I've learned over the years is to just probably enjoy the process more than the end product anyway. It's probably, I find it more fun making the thing until, I've made a few albums now, and it was more fun making the albums than it was to then go listen to it at the end and go, well, it's done now.
The journey is better than the destination sometimes.
For me personally, yeah.
With what with what Dowd just said, he is a dude to be fair.
Dude.
With what Dowd just said as well, it's like if you enjoy the process and do things that you enjoy doing that helps the band or help your project you're working on. But if you enjoy it, the actual product and the outcome is way better in the end anyway, because you put way more of yourself into it than you just doing it because I've been told to do it. If you have an idea and you're excited about doing it, then ultimately that project and that little thing you're going to do is going to be tippity top.
I think that one really good point is that you guys have brought me in as someone who has the additional skills and expertise that you guys have, but like you've brought in someone who really knows them well, and has some additional creativity and obviously a different perspective as well. So that's a really good point in terms of like, even if you're not in a band, if you're on your own, there's no harm in asking other people to be involved in some way, even if they're not necessarily making music with you. But like the amount of people that have been involved with Navier Gene just in the past few months involved in other bits that we're doing, that have just brought in one skill at one point. Some of them, yeah, we'll pay them, but other people are just there as part of a passion project. But also you'd be surprised at how many people out there are happy to teach or mentor as well. So if you're unsure, people would want to give feedback.
Especially at times like this as well. People want to do things, so reach out and say, look, I'm working on this. Do you want to help me, or do you want to work together or something? And I guarantee most people will be like, yeah, I'm absolutely bored out of my mind. Can I please help you?
Totally.
Pretty cool. I've got a final point actually. Just when we were talking about bringing Jenni in on this, and this is like probably something for another day, but just to touch on it really briefly. As creatives, I would say most creatives out there suffer from depression, anxiety, things like that. And the worst thing isn't the fact that you don't want to do your craft and create. It's that you literally can't find the effort or the motivation to. And all the skills that Jenni brings in are excellent, but what she actually does for me personally most is gives me a sense of responsibility and management, so that I actually have to do things, which then in turn makes me do more things because I'm motivated.
It's been held accountable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about, so like of the accountability of it. You don't have to find someone to manage you. I mean, it's not exactly like I'm an actual manager. I'm just more of a support with my skills. And you don't need an actual manager. I think it's just having someone to hold you accountable, even if that's your mum. Like, as in just someone who you're like, this is what I'm doing, like, and sitting down with them and getting advice and mentorship or help, but also even potentially that person could be just someone to help you, to get you along. And I think additionally, even if you don't want to have someone at that first, it could be that you get someone in to help you with skills that you don't have, but you also say to them, can we hold each other accountable to get on with this on a schedule that works for us? That sounds really formal and official to people who maybe are a bit younger, but like for people who are doing this like as a serious thing, I think that's just it's more fun when there's more people involved.
Absolutely.
Anyway. And the accountability doesn't have to be heavy accountability. It can just be the fact that you're like, every Monday we get together and record a podcast, for example.
It's literally just looking to try and define your support network generally.
It's like being at uni, you just do all your work right at the last minute, and it's just not the way to do it. Although it is, because...
But at uni, you have someone to hold you accountable. There's pressure. It's really difficult when you're doing a project off your own back to actually, like, even if you set yourself deadlines, because you're the only one, in theory, that's telling you to do something that's quite easy, I find, to push everything back an extra week. It's not a good way to do things, though.
I'll drink to that.
You can offer suggestions, but don't take the advice.
Music, then.
Well, we know why Swerve got chosen.
Because it's absolutely fucking amazing. Absolute boss tune.
Because it slaps.
You know, there's a like riff etiquette, right? This is a thought process of mine, right? So there are the 101, right? I class myself as a riff lord, and it's fact. It's literally you can't argue with it. It's the truth. If you've got some questions about that, come at me direct, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. But basically, there are a lot of bands out there flying out with a provisional riff license. You need a full heavy goods, all inclusive riff license to be able to do it properly. And with Swerve City, this is heavy driving riff writing at its best. It's basically one note and it's a riff, right? When you can work that out and you can tell me why that works the way it does, then you've got your license. You're good to go from there, right? But don't write riffs and just be like, there's a million notes. It sounds mint. It doesn't. Probably sounds real technical and cool, right? But riffs, the strong, the hard, the big riff is all in the simplicity.
Yeah, but
he's got something to say now.
Big license Dowd's at it now.
Just so you know that he does have a full license, but I've had mine longer.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate thing about it, really. No, I've written a few riffs on guitar.
No, you've got bare riffs, absolute riffs all there. The thing is, there's definitely taste in there. There's taste dictates.
I'm coming from much more of like a funk soul background here, but like I agree for the most part. I just think I understand and comprehend the lots of notes thing. I get that, and I'm a fan of many note riffs.
As am I.
I'm a fan of many notes.
I think what I'm trying to say is that why most people still get something out of dance music or a 4/4 beat is the simplicity and the primal feeling you get from it, and I think that still resonates within melody as well. So, like, as much as I can appreciate, I mean, I've been a band that plays a million notes per song, so I can absolutely appreciate it. I'm saying that the best, most memorable, most feely riffs you're gonna get are gonna be simple and catchy rather than,
and that's all to do with the rhythm.
Yeah, well, no, you're correct completely. Yeah, fair enough.
Can someone explain to me the etiquette as a non-riff player? Can someone explain to me the etiquette of a riff, please?
Okay, I'll have a go at this.
As a drummer.
What are you? Hey,
I'm nearly offended.
I love how I'm the only non-musician, and I'm absolutely bringing up the band,
right?
Just with no qualifications at all on it.
Absolutely, but straight to the band unit with me.
A riff is defined.
Has it got the Oxford Dictionary out?
Not the the riff is defined not.
We'll get Urban Dictionary up for you.
All right. Well, my Urban Dictionary version of a riff A riff is not defined by the amount of notes. It is defined by the rhythmical
Groove.
ambience, tonality, or the rhythmical timbre, if you will.
I like the way that you're trying to simplify it and you're still using music theory words.
Well, I'm just trying to find words. A riff is defined as the encapsulation of all elements of music, because it is the melody, it's the rhythm, it's the harmonic progression in one.
I think even though I've opened up a can of worms here, we all agree. It's just there are levels of subjectivity to it as well. So my taste might be a little different to Dowd's, even though they're pretty much the same. My point is that usually simpler is better. And Swerve City is one of those simpler riffs that's really good. Just to come back to what we were saying and not go completely off the tracks, because we're going to just go all night on riffs now.
I would like to insert the official according to Urban Dictionary.
There we go.
Because that's the coolest dictionary around. Is a select tune or melody of a guitar tab in a song. It's a little tune that gets stuck in your head. It's a riff. Like, used in a sentence, Jimmy Page can throw down some complicated, insane, fast riffs. That's the top definition on Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, we're going to go way off topic here.
Anyway, I'll tell you another real good riff. First It Giveth by Queens of the Stone Age.
That is a fantastic riff. And you see that one has way more notes in it than 3 or 4. But like you said, the rhythm and then how it's all put together with feel, and specifically the drums of that song, change how the riff is.
Very specifically the drums in that one, actually.
Yeah. But again, it's a riff. I wouldn't say personally that's anywhere near as strong as Swerve City as a riff, but it's still a good riff.
No.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
DM Eddi Pickard on Instagram if
Tell me.
what you think.
Tell me.
Swerve City's
Please
a better
don't.
riff.
I mean, no, they'll all say yes because they know I'm right.
Yeah, hopefully.
See, that's the thing, because like what I would normally say in that context is Swerve City is a better riff for its simplicity, but it's not necessarily a better riff. I still believe there is no bad music, and I still
agree.
strongly believe in that.
Ed Sheeran.
Great, what a guy!
On it's come out.
Well done for writing the same song and earning the same amount of money for each song, even though it's the same song. Well done. Hats off to you, mate.
Scientifically, that makes a lot of sense.
It does. Do we want to go down that road?
No.
Well done, Ed Sheeran, for your career.
For your same song.
It's taken me all of my willpower not to say anything about it. I've already said too much. We all like Queens of the Stone Age, basically. So we picked Queens. Well, I think it was you, Kugu, picked First to Give. I would have literally played anything off the first sort of 4 or 5 albums, but that's one of my favorite songs anyway.
Oh god, yeah. It was more of a test for me because it's a bit of a calf killer.
I remember him recording the Gene Pool session, and he insisted on doing some harmonies over the chorus, even though me and Dowd had it covered. So if you look in the video, you actually see we're doing a 3-part harmony with a low fifth on it. But Coog was like, "Oh, I want to do some harmonies as well." When I asked him, I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Oh, it's just a big fuck you to Dave Grohl, innit? Because I'm also playing the drums better than him and singing." And the thing is, I couldn't disagree.
It was literally those wordings as well.
I don't remember saying that.
Dave Grohl coming for you.
I'm just going to write a hit list down that we've already got, which is Ed Sheeran and Dave Grohl. Anyone else?
He's at the top, though. Ed Sheeran's at the top.
Next to Dave Grohl.
I don't want to kill Dave Grohl. I love him.
I don't want to kill Dave Grohl.
I think Jenny's saying that they're going to come for us.
Oh, fair. No, that is the truth. Yeah. Dump it. Dump it.
I'm just going to say, a future Jenny who's editing this podcast, think long and hard of whether or not you're going to keep these names in.
That is
She's
staying
definitely
in.
good. It's getting cut. It's getting cut all day.
I definitely took it upon myself to challenge myself in that song.
I have a question based around that. Because again, from a non-musician point of view, like what I see in the bands that you've covered, they have obviously a lot more musicians in their bands. So was there a challenge there, just out of interest, with three of you? Because obviously you all hold down the harmonies, which I think personally is very impressive. But yeah, is there a challenge there?
I think there isn't a challenge, but there's definitely something to think about. So I was literally about to make this point. So my favourite parts of the covers are specifically, well, less so with Sweater because it's basically a direct carbon copy, just a little bit more raw. And I prefer how I sing to how he sings, but that's just also... Yeah, it's just also a preference because I like to go a little harder than he does, but that's cool. But specifically with Bruce Springsteen, when we put that little middle section in there, and we're like, what we're gonna do here? Because it's kind of like we could do something with it, or we could do it exactly as it is, and we just decided to go 28 days later with it. Came out real good, and then Dowd did a little screamer bit. It was quite nice. It all sounds good. And then with Festive Giveth, you got Coog doing basically he's doing the main line of the whole chorus, and then it basically left me to do the fucking low fifth, and then also in a little breakdown in the middle, I was like, oh, there's a little tasty bit here, and Dad was like, don't worry, I've got it. But he had a big smile on his face when he did it as well. I was like, yeah, I got it. Little Dowd solo.
Yeah, I did wonder how that was going to be brought in. I wondered if that was something we'd overlook or we'd miss out. That's too cool.
It's such a main part. It is, again, going back to that, it is such a main part of the song, in my opinion, that needed to be there. There's very, very small bits that you only can really sort of pick up on headphones or good speakers, like in the actual, what has actually been done, especially some of the backing vocal stuff to where like sort of really hear it, and like some of the bass and the drum things that's actually happening. It's just little moments where you just like, that's
plenty of stuff.
Little inflections of the way you maybe say a word, or like the way you flicked a snare or something like that. It's really, really tasty stuff.
There's something in that as well, because despite us doing covers, we all have our own sound and our own way of playing. And I think even when we play a song as it is recorded, without the extra guitarist or the keyboard player or whatever, it still sounds like us. And with what you said, Jenny, about the if it's a challenge, it's not a challenge. It's literally just a case of which option we're going to take. So we could either leave out that little guitar part, or Dowd could play it on the bass, or Dowd could do the singing in that bit, and I'd do that bit, and we just decided to do it that way because it felt the most like organic.
It's going back to the beginning. It's about adapting it.
Limitations breed creativity.
There you go, that one again.
Ugh.
It is that.
Ugh.
Got him.
It's good. It's a little factor, I suppose, that we never really consciously considered when we're looking at these songs, because it was never about, we can't do that band because they've got 4 members, they've got 5 members. It was, well, this is just a cool song, so let's see if we can figure out a way that we can do it that does it justice, without it sounding too thin or there's not enough layers and stuff. And that's where I think me and Dowd certainly stepped up in terms of like backing vocals and helping to really thicken out the vocal parts and stuff, especially on Die Alone, where you did the during the bridge and stuff. It was just, oh wow, I couldn't remember that you could get your voice that high, but it sounds really, really cool.
Even the originals, even the 2 Navier Gene originals revamped, are completely different, really. Like in that chorus,
Yeah, they're so good as well. I prefer them.
yeah, I absolutely prefer them. I'd love to record the whole album like that. But say, for example, Die Alone, in that chorus part, it's 3 big harmonies, all main, whereas all as main vocal, whereas how we did it live was those 2 took the reins and I chimed in with like something else, a little bit more flavour on top, so it completely changes the composition of the chorus. Those are the sort of things, though, that are really cool when you're in a band with people like I am, that you can just sort of experiment with, and when it feels good, everyone's like, that was a really good way of doing that.
That is literally what it is, what I was trying to say. It is those cool little new experiments. Yeah.
But the Secrecy at the end of Secrecy, and then we put a little gap in there for the little breakdown bit, but we also put a gap in the last chorus where there isn't one in the original. That is my favourite part of the song now, because you hear all those harmonies ring together and it pops back in and it's like, yeah, that's pretty sick, my dude. It's like mint. But yeah, just experiment and do some cool stuff with your bros.
On that, I was just trying to think then, were there any songs that we tried that just didn't work out?
No. There is one. There is one which we'll never do because Dowd refuses to, because he'll get so much hate for it apparently. And we can play it mint as well. It sounds really
Another one
good.
now.
Little bit of
I
Jamiroquai.
just don't want to do it. I do, but I don't because again, it's self-consciousness.
Aww.
Mate, I don't know why you're hitting
That's a
yourself
riff.
with that.
That's a riff as well.
That is a riff.
Look, if you're watching this video and you've got to this point and you want to see us do what's the actual song called?
Deeper
Deeper
Underground.
Underground by Jamiroquai as a cover, you let us know because we will definitely do it, and we need to bully Dowd into doing it. This is the only time bullying's okay.
Can I bring something onto camera, like a very specific pedal that is the Jamiroquai tone,
Go
the
on.
Deeper Underground tone, and it was built by a really good friend of mine called Nicholas Winder. NFX Red Box it was, and it was built by him. And all it is like a. In fact, I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Oh.
If you want to know what it is, tell him to do the cover.
Yeah, let's do it like that.
It's full of secret sauce.
We are doing that cover. We're going to record it, and then it's going to be ready to go for the minute you tell him that we're doing that cover.
On that note, actually, we are. So I realised that we said in the last podcast, but for this podcast, we would be having a Q&A from fans, but we've already recorded this one before we've actually released the first podcast. So I would like to say that when we release this podcast, what we will do around the same time is make sure that there is a way to submit, maybe on Instagram polls, any songs that you want to suggest Navier Gene covers, and we will take the Jamiroquai into account as well. So there you go.
Also, if you've not heard that song, go listen to it because it's
Yeah,
outstanding. It's a riff
everything
in that.
from that guy.
Also, just listen to Jamiroquai, just full stop. It's just insane. Hey, look at him. He wants to do it. Look, he wants to do it.
Am I going to put it? Is it going to have to be another name to put on the list, Dowd?
It is. It was slightly then.
Oh
No,
no.
it's total. He said, she said.
So Ed Sheeran.
We've got a list.
It's just I've heard that JK is a bit of a not a nice person.
Might be, but you know what we've accidentally done?
It can do a riff though.
We've accidentally, yeah, you can quite. We've accidentally created kind of a nice little super group there. we just need a drummer now.
I can't believe that we've added 3 people to a hit list, to a beef list.
So we've got a bassist, a drummer, and a singer and a guitarist. It sounds a lot like Navier Gene, don't you think?
Oh,
It's the Navier Gene. It's the Navier Gene cover band in the future.
hopefully.
That's good to me.
Yeah, fair. Well, all I've done this entire video is just diss out hate, and I'm not that guy.
Yeah, it's all loving hate.
It's loving hate. No, it's sarcastic hate. I don't actually hate anything apart from Ed Sheeran.
From what?
Nothing. I didn't say out.
He's jealous because it's got the same name.
At least I picked someone I might stand a chance against at fighting. Whereas you pick Dave Grohl, mate, he's gonna knock you clean out, the bin you off.
I never said that I wanted to fight Dave Grohl. I don't even know what I'd do if I met him. I respect him too much. Can't believe you've imposed this somehow invisible, imaginary beef. I have nothing but respect and
I
admiration
do
for Dave
vaguely
Grohl.
remember it. To be fair, it was definitely something there. I do. Sort
It
of,
was sass. There was
there was
sass, wasn't there?
definitely a moment where you were just like, da 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 da. Well, I just wanted to like. It was said in a way that was like, I'm taking what he did, and I love what he did, and I wanted to one up it, but he definitely came out as like, fucked him. Sorry, not fucked it, because you didn't fuck it.
Yeah.
For the fans who can draw, I'd love to see a drawing, like a comic drawing of Eddi Pickard fighting Ed Sheeran. But now I'm going to ask for a James Anthony fight against Dave Grohl now. Or both is fine. But I'd like to see that, please, everyone who can draw.
Also, Dowd fighting JK.
There you go. The whole trio. The nemesis.
The nemesis.
The nemesis.
And if anyone's feeling spicy, those 3 guys are like some sort of like Gorgon type thing, and we're like a Power Rangers Megazord. So we're like, it's like Dowd's head, where Coog's the arms and I'm the legs or something. No one's gonna do that, but I'll be so amazed if someone draws that. That'd be so
That
amazing.
would be absolutely amazing.
I'm not saying that there'll be a special prize, but there might be a special
No, there'll
prize
definitely
if
be
you
a
do
special
it.
prize.
Well,
If we get it and we like it, that person will get a special prize. The prize is, we don't know what it is yet, but it'll be something mint.
You will immediately get your full Riff license.
Yeah.
Upgrade from provisionary Riff license to your full HGV
Done.
Riff license.
And you'll also get
Yeah.
you'll get ringside seats for Dave Grohl fights James Anthony as well.
God.
I need another beer.
on that note, I'd like to say thank you everyone for joining us for this episode of Gene Therapy.
If you made it this far, what have you done with your life? Jesus.
If you want to hear more, you can find us on potentially a streaming platform, otherwise probably just YouTube right now, at the beginning of when we're releasing these. But you can follow this wonderful lot on Instagram and on Facebook by searching Navier Gene. Boop, boop, boop. And please talk to us. Please, if we ask questions about the podcast, etc., if you're following us, then we will be posting ways that you can get involved. Hopefully, the first podcast will be out by the time we record the third one. So you'll have the opportunity to, we'll already have questions for the next one. So, yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure.
The more things you ask us, the less we'll deviate from the plan and start talking about fighting people that are going to definitely knock us
Get
out.
me in trouble with Dave Grohl, apparently.
Yeah. So think about our lives and our livelihood now.
Yes,
It's in your hands. Question us, please.
Well, thank you, everyone. And we will see you next time.
Yeah. In a bit.
Wave. Cheers.
Love you, bye.
Bye.